Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Candidly with Coffee.
Sun's out. Finally.
Oh, shoot, it is. It's a little
Clouds burning off.
Happy Monday. Happy May.
Oh, it's May, huh? Happy May
1st. Can you believe it?
May 1st already.
It's crazy. The time just flies by.
Just keeps pushing ahead. Never stops.
I know.
Quick. It's like you blink and it's like another month here, another month here. Next, you know, already at the end of the year, it goes quick.
I know. It's crazy. And I have a headache today. I just took some Advil. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe I ate too much sugar yesterday.
I ate too much, yeah.
Yesterday
we went
was
in.
a shit show. Show.
Donuts, burger,
yes,
fries.
It's your fault.
Some pizza.
I came home to donuts. Yesterday,
a little bit of everything.
I have to say, and this is what I get. You know what happened with the donuts? I broke my own rule. I let too long pass of not having donuts.
So
I haven't had a donut in a really long time.
So when you have one, it's like
I was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna
like
really
crack.
enjoy these donuts. Like less self-control.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Sorry.
It's okay though. You know what I mean?
I was fighting it. I was like,
here's the deal.
Should I not? Should I not? And I broke.
You know, but here's the thing.
I was craving them.
It's okay though. Like I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to really enjoy these donuts today and I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
No, it's not like it's the end of the world.
That's
and
true.
I made a conscious decision to do what I know I shouldn't do, but I made a decision to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I was still in control of the decision and I thought, well, you know, it's like, why not? What's it going to hurt in the grand scheme of things?
Nothing.
To once in a while enjoy. So I had maybe like four donuts. I had 4 donuts, and then let's discuss. We are bad for each other. That's the problem. So I wanted like something yummy, like fast foodish. So we went to Smash Burger, which is the food court at Oak Ridge Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And in the food court, there is also a Blondie's Pizza.
Yes.
And you were excited to see it because it's from like San Francisco from the 80s.
It's a staple from San Francisco. I remember my childhood. Go play arcades, video games, arcades, downtown San Francisco. And then when you're hungry, go over to Blondie's Pizza where the Powell Street station, the cable cars were at.
So you were excited to see it, but we had already ordered
shocked.
burgers.
Yeah.
But you ordered the burgers and you were like walking towards the pizza. And I turned around and I said, hey, why don't you just get a slice?
I just wanted to see if it was the real Blondie's from.
And you said I was already going to do that. I was like, we're so bad for each other.
Oh,
we were waiting for burgers and fries and then we had pizza. I actually chose not to eat my fries though because I enjoyed the pizza a lot. It was really good.
So for those of you in San Jose, locals or in the surrounding area, Blondie's Pizza is in Oak Ridge Mall.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So anyways, yesterday it was just one of those days where I ate a little much, but I don't feel guilty about it. But I think I truly have a headache from it.
Yeah. Too much.
I do. Is the sugar. Too much sugar gave me a headache because I haven't had that much sugar in a really long time.
Sugar hangover.
I do. But I don't regret it. It was delicious. And it was a lesson. It had been too long since I had donuts. I have to have a donut here and there during the week. Just a reminder. I had been meaning to go pick up one of my favorite donuts that I love is at Whole Foods. And
you should do that when you're craving it.
I had been meaning to go grab one, but I just never made it there. And I did make it there once, but it was sold out by the time I got there. It always sells out. If you go in the afternoon, you got to go in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pink frosted donut.
That's your favorite.
So good. I need to get that more often so that I don't die when I was in heaven with the donuts yesterday. Anyways,
a good and a bad choice at the same time.
Yeah, it was good and bad. It was good and bad. If you would have asked me, I would have told you not to go.
That's why I didn't ask.
That's why you see, you're a little sneak.
You just got to do.
But you could have just gone and got yourself some donuts. No, you brought a dozen donuts.
I mean, then if I got myself, then I look selfish. Because then they'd be like, babe, you didn't ask if I wanted any. Come on.
You can't win.
Exactly. So,
or
you could say no. So.
Or you could have just got me 2.
No, I got a dozen. That's just the way it goes.
I brought my dad some. So. He was happy with them. All right, Mike had to disrobe because he's hot over here. It's not hot in this room. Yeah. Okay, so back on the topic that we were discussing last week, the hair situation.
The what?
Remember we were talking about no surprises, hairy people.
Oh yeah.
Well, there is an entire area or like following on OnlyFans that pays for hairy models. So there's women on OnlyFans that make a lot of money by being hairy, by growing out all of their armpit hair and all of the hair.
I mean, if they're making hella bank doing it, you can't knock them for that.
I came across something where they were like making 6-7 figures off of hair.
I mean, it ain't my thing. Okay, I said my opinion on it, but if they're making money on it and they're happy,
there's somebody
then, hey,
for everybody.
exactly.
What about like there's a girl from 90 Day Fiance that she was on one of the seasons of 90 Day Fiance, and she gets paid to fart in jars. She sells fart jars.
Yes, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember seeing that like on the reunion or whatever? She talked about it. So that has got to be the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. She traps her farts in a sealed jar and sells fart jars, and there's a market for it.
And I'm sure it's men.
Of course, it's men.
Disgusting.
You think women are buying
and
fart jars?
And listen, I'll tell you this. Hey, when you guys call men disgusting pigs, my goodness, you're not lying. Men are disgusting pigs. Sorry, y'all. Ooh, some of the stuff you guys do. Like, what's the thing called now? The women fly to Dubai.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
There's a saying.
There's a name for it. They call it porta potty.
There you go.
They call it porta potty in Dubai, where they're doing things with pooping and stuff. But
yes, men are eating women's fecal matter, and it turns them on. They're paying them lots of money for it.
They're paying for it.
Paying.
Yeah.
Lots of money for that.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like again, men are disgusting pigs. Yes.
But so you can't, I guess, knock the women who are growing all their hair out and stuff if they're doing it and they're making their
I mean, you look at it in that scheme. That's nothing.
No.
Nothing.
To me, the fart jars is worse.
No. The other one's worse.
Oh, the porta potty.
Come on, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on. There's levels.
I'm talking about like things that you sell on the internet. You're not people. That would be illegal to sell poop. I think it's toxic waste. You can't ship it.
Oh. All right. Move on from that topic. It's disgusting. I don't even know I brought it up, but yeah,
you're the one who brought it.
I'm just making it. I'm just saying. I am agreeing with women when they say men are disgusting pigs.
But you don't think women are disgusting? Do you think why does it feel like men have more disgusting fetishes than women? I feel like women may have fetishes, but not as
men got crazy ones.
Yeah,
feet fetishes.
Shit
fetishes?
Because I don't want to be like
hair fetishes. What else? What am I missing? God.
But I don't want to be so general. I know that in the last episode, I made a generalization saying that women are embarrassed initially with new men to be naked and men aren't. I generalized that. When I watched it back, I thought that was too general because I'm sure there are many women who drop trow and have no problem being naked in front of new people as well. So that was a generalization. I apologize for that. But I think in the majority, I've just been reading a lot of things. I know it's like not cool these days to talk about like genders being men and women, but that's the way I roll.
You don't want to pretend. Yeah, I'm 48. We're 47.
I think that whether you choose to change that or not is a different topic.
Exactly.
But I'm talking about when you're born biologically a female and biologically a male. I've just been looking into the differences.
Yes.
It just even in my studies through NASA, the anatomy differences.
There's only two.
Hormonal differences.
Yep.
Because look, if I'm training a client, there's a difference when you train a man versus a woman. There's a difference in macros.
Yep.
So whether or not you are now transitioned to another gender, your macros and all of that, it's kind of like based off of your born anatomy and gender. You know what I'm saying?
You have ovaries, I have testicles.
So
say it is what it is.
Anyways, I'm not trying to get into that topic at all, but I'm just saying that there are differences for people who are born biological male, biological female. Those are not only physical differences. A lot of them, there's been a lot of studies, there's a lot of like the mental differences. So I was wondering why men tend to be more extreme with their fetishes and things like that than women.
That's a good topic and a good study.
I just don't know.
I wonder if anyone studies that. You're right, though. I wonder, because what are women's crazy fetishes like compared to men's? Because men, we got some disgusting ones.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Golden showers, porta potties. I mean, farts in the jar. Fuck. Clickety clack with the heels.
I know. Yes. So there's, I don't know if we
Men
were
love
talking
that
about that one.
clickety-clack.
Yeah, men, there is a thing, there's a market for women to just put on heels, and they don't even have to be on video, just sound, where they want to hear the woman walking in the heels.
Yes.
And so like women on the back end of things, if they're not doing video, if they're just doing sound, they'll just literally have a table and they're just clack, clack, clack right there. They're not even on their feet. They're just
Clickety-clacking.
clickety-clacking
Oh, my goodness.
on the table.
Yes.
It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of like crazy things.
There is a lot of crazy shit out there.
All right.
So you're right, though. What? You got me thinking, what? Yeah, I can't.
What's the difference?
Yeah,
Why
I know.
men?
Yeah.
I don't
Psychological.
know. Because it actually goes right into the next topic, because I was looking into I was looking at the difference between men and women in a lot of ways, in anatomy and thinking. You know, the whole remember that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus? Like, what's the difference? And the hormonal differences play a part, but also the way that men are like hardwired, the way they think, the way their brains work is different than women in most cases as well.
So think about this. We commit suicide by far.
I read that stat.
More than women.
The reason for that is women are more vocal about their feelings. Mm-hmm. They are more, which means they're releasing the pressure out of the pipes.
Yes. Men,
by nature, whether that's genetically or the way you're raised, it's probably a little bit of both, like the nature-nurture thing.
Yes.
Is they do not discuss feelings, and so it manifests a little more violently sometimes or whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I did read into that as well, because I was reading I was just kind of fascinated on on the differences, on why are there so many differences, what are the differences, and the whole knowing your anatomy. That's what I actually wanted to talk about today. It's kind of a weird topic, but I don't think people know enough about like their organs.
No, they don't.
What they do and
I just learned
where
something new.
They are located.
Yes. Where's the liver located?
Like you need to know. It's so funny that I literally have been looking into anatomy the last few days, and we go on a walk and you actually bring something up exactly correlating with that topic with me today on the walk. Was you learned something about the liver.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what is a fighter? You're always taught hit to the liver, but why hit to the liver? Because we know when you hit to the liver, you disrupt the liver, your body just shuts down. Well, why does it shut down? Well, I found out that it's the floating rib that you actually hit. And when you hit that floating rib, you want it to dig into the liver. When it hits the liver releases toxins. And that's why you see fighters will take a step or two back and then they collapse.
And not right away.
Their body shuts down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do. They're in excruciating pain.
And it's interesting. What people don't realize is the rib cage is there to actually prevent. I mean, it's to protect some of the organs. It protects the lungs, protects the liver.
Yes.
But I don't think people know like about their anatomy. Like, are you pretty good? Do you know like what do you think is bigger, the liver or like the stomach?
I think the liver is.
Like the liver's large.
Huge. It's large. Yeah, I believe the liver is. Yeah.
The liver is.
It's a huge. It is.
Is large.
You don't think about how big it is, but it is.
Yeah, and if a doctor does like an ultrasound or whatever and sees your liver and it's small, that's right away an indication that there's something wrong. If your liver is like not the standard size.
Oh.
Like a cirrhotic liver, a liver of cirrhosis of the liver is small. Like when my mom went to the hospital, right away they said before they said she had cirrhosis, they didn't know that yet, but just on glancing at her liver size, they're like, okay, the liver is diseased in some way. So she had liver issue too. Damn. But I just think it's so important to know your anatomy. So know the organs, the major organs, not only know where they are, but know what they're responsible for, and know when they don't work properly, what happens.
Yeah, like basically when you drink, you guys, and you excessively drink, you poison that liver.
Yeah, your liver is filled with the ether, right? What is it called?
Yes,
it's ethanol. It's the toxin out of alcohol, and your liver has to fully process that before it can go back to processing energy and creating energy. That's why we were so tired after drinking.
Yes, because your liver can't give you the proper energy because it's like you said, it's filtering out all that.
Yeah, because the
ethanol.
liver's responsible. The liver, again, is what's
People don't
actually
know that.
responsible for our glycogen,
Yes.
which is our fuel source for
Yes.
processing that. Also, for processing like ketone bodies too,
Mm-hmm.
for energy. So liver is like making our fuel.
Yeah, very important, you guys, to know this stuff.
So if you're drinking, you're circumventing that process, and it has to pause on that for a while.
Yeah.
And so you kind of lose energy. But even beyond that, I think it's important to know so that like if you have some weird symptoms or anything funky that you kind of like think about, because people will automatically think that like, oh, if I have, a stomach problem, I'm going to have pain in my stomach. If I have a liver problem, I'm going to feel it and I'm going to be able to tell it's my liver. No, it actually manifests into like muscle aches sometimes. You'll think you pulled a shoulder muscle. You'll have a shoulder ache and it'll be liver disease or liver failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You might think you're bloated or have gas pain, but it could actually be like a tumor or a mass in your intestines.
That's so true. You're right. Not even know it.
And it's important to know where things are on your body. Like, are you comfortable with, like, do you know where the pancreas is?
I believe the pancreas is on the left side of my body.
But where does it sit?
Now you're asking me a nasty
I'm just
test
curious.
question.
I'm just curious. Where do you know?
I'm guessing like to the left side of my stomach, somewhere.
It's
back here.
behind the stomach. It's like right behind the
like
stomach.
Like my side right
up
here.
top, but
So-
not super on the top. It's kind of like front left.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, but it's definitely on the left, and your liver's on the right.
Yes, liver's on the right.
So it's good to know also that, and it's behind the stomach, the pancreas.
Behind the stomach.
Also, kidneys.
And what's it responsible for again? The pancreas?
Insulin.
There you go.
So people who are type 1 diabetic, their pancreas does not make insulin. But people who are type 2 diabetic, it's not necessarily a problem that with your pancreas. It's that your pancreas is on overdrive trying to create a lot of insulin because you're eating a lot of sugar, you're eating a lot of food.
Like we did yesterday.
And you become desensitized to the insulin.
Yeah.
And so your pancreas has to keep making it. So it's not really a defective pancreas for type 2 diabetes. They're actually quite different diseases. And people confuse the two.
It. Me too. I didn't understand. And
because
it taught me a lot from NASA learning.
In many cases, type 2 diabetes is actually self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. You can prevent
Whereas
it.
type 1 diabetes is usually genetic. You're born with it, or it's rare that it manifests itself later in life, but sometimes it does. Sometimes type 1 diabetes kind of lays dormant, and then it...
And you know what's crazy? Let's stay on this topic for a second. I used to assume that it ran in my family, and I've always said that. Oh, it runs on my mom's side.
Yeah, it's just overweight.
And I always said
runs
that.
in your family.
And my grandmother outlived 3 of her daughters, which was my mother was one of them. My grandmother lived in her 80s, mid 80s. She didn't have diabetes. She never became a large woman. She kept her weight down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's BS. It doesn't run on my mom's
it could
side.
because it's really
high blood pressure is only a hereditary thing that I have.
Yes,
that runs on my dad's side,
and it's on your dad's side. And your dad is not overweight. And
no,
he is active, but he still has the high blood pressure.
Yes, my dad's actually a very healthy weight. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll be honest. Until recently, until my dad's colon cancer diagnosis, I wasn't real clear on the digestive system. I thought that the colon. Okay, I may be alone on this one, but I thought that there was a small intestine, a large intestine, and that the colon was like at the end of the large intestine, that it was a small little organ. I didn't realize the colon is the large intestine. It's just a huge colon.
Yes.
Also known as the large intestine.
Also known as the large intestine. That's correct.
That was something I did not know.
I thought it was the same thing, like separate.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the whole, we learned, I guess.
I did not know that. And so when you have, and it's very important because I'm telling you, I told you my TikTok is on fire lately with sad things, but I'm seeing an alarming rate of young people with colon cancer.
I've heard even in the 30s.
Yeah, younger than that even, like young.
That's a problem.
And so I pay attention, though. What I do pay attention is what were their symptoms. And that's why it's so important, you guys, to be on top of your health so that you know at your healthiest, when you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing and your health is checking out, you know what that feels like. You know what good feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So that if something just is a little bit wrong, you'll be able to notice it. It won't be a needle in a haystack.
No.
If suddenly Next week, I'm super bloated. Like, I'm just bloated every day. So I'm like, shoot, I'm going to take some digestive enzymes. Maybe I'm going to do a cleanse, see if it goes away. Doesn't go away. I'm still bloated. I'm a week straight. My stomach is like fully distended. I'm going to the doctor. I'm like, this is not normal. I am bloated. This is not normal. Because I hear people talking on like TikTok and stuff saying, well, I was bloated for a while. I thought I was just lactose intolerant or whatever. They're like dealing with bloat for like months and months and months. Like, no.
That's like if me, I have an iron gut. I don't get nauseous very often. All of a sudden, I'm nauseous every day on a daily basis. Like, man, I'm nauseous every day. And one day, maybe, okay, it's a fluke.
Yeah,
and
like,
then
that's
day
weird.
after
Like,
day
every
after
day,
day.
I'm feeling a little queasy every day. That's weird.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah. Pay attention, you guys.
Nausea is another indicator of a lot of different diseases and cancers and things. And I don't want to freak you out, but I also don't, I think people dismiss it too easily. It's okay to anything that sticks around 2 to 3 days. If it resolves in 2 to 3 days and doesn't get progressively worse, like you're okay.
Yeah.
When things start to linger beyond 2 to 3 days, a stomach bug doesn't last that long. Food poisoning doesn't last that long.
48 to 72 hours normally food poisoning?
So like if things aren't resolving, you have to get it checked out. You have to start to think like, and then pay attention to your other symptoms and think about like, well, I do have like this dull ache in my low back or something, right? Another thing, back pain often presents itself for a lot of other things going on with the organs. The kidneys, liver.
Kidneys.
Can cause back
That's
type
crazy.
things.
You don't think that, but yeah, you're right. You dismiss it as back pain.
Yeah, you just think, oh, I tweaked my back. Like, I've been having back problems forever. And you don't know it. Yeah. Or like, because you got to understand a lot of the things with our anatomy, they don't, there's not like clear cuts. You don't get a printout. And I think people just think like, wow, if this was serious, it would be much more extreme.
Yeah.
You know, I think they wait for that. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty
How
of
many
doing that.
people have gone to the hospital? And same thing. I don't feel nauseous. No. I'm going to go back a little bit. Remember, my mother was in the hospital dealing with her colon stuff?
Yeah.
And then the doctor was like, hey, man, just be glad at least you have time with your mother because this guy or something came on a trip from Disneyland coming through Oregon, didn't feel good, nauseous, stage 4 cancer, had very little to live. Like weeks.
Yeah, they were traveling. It was a family with their kids.
Remember that story?
And he didn't make it. He passed away. That's what he was telling us. He lived like 3 days in the hospital and he died.
Yeah.
And it was really sad because, And I'm not trying to give everyone hypochondriac here.
No.
But I do feel like not enough people know about their anatomy. Like your esophagus, your liver, your kidneys, your heart, your bladder. You know?
Yeah. Not to laugh, but Joe Rogan also used to say, like, man, people just don't know. They think feeling like shit's the normal thing, but they don't know.
That's the
problem.
And I
laugh about that because it comes in my mind. He says people just get accustomed feeling like absolute crap.
They think bloating is normal.
No.
Like, oh, well, I just get like this every time I eat. I thought it was normal. No, that's not normal. Mm-mm. It is not normal to have to unbutton your pants after you eat. Mm-mm. So I'm not saying it's something serious, but you need to pay attention and fix it.
Yeah.
Because it's those things that you think are normal that you let linger for 2-3 years that you realize were something a lot more serious. Yeah. And now it's 2-3 years down the road, a lot harder to handle things. The way I deal with anxiety around medical stuff is think about this. We have a lot of technology. We have come a long way in the medical space. There are a lot of treatments. The most important thing that you can do for yourself is early detection.
Prevention.
Early detection, though, of anything that's out of your control, right?
Yep.
You can't always prevent a lot of things, but you can be so in tune with your health that you know something is off.
Yeah.
And so you get your early diagnosis. Don't ignore things because you don't want to hear what it might be and you're too scared. So anyways, I just think that it's just important to know.
Yeah, it is. For sure. Very important. You don't want to, wait till, like you said, it's too late. Like, look what they spotted on you when you did your colonoscopy.
I know.
Can you imagine 5 years down like, okay, we're going to do it 5 years from now, and then we get bad news.
Right. No, it's important. So like just a reminder to not ignore things, pay attention to your health, but also a really good incentive to get yourself to baseline where you can figure things out. You know what I mean? But what I mean by baseline is fix the little things now that if you're bloated every day, you got to work on that.
Yeah.
You got to get to feeling like good and healthy, and then you'll know if something is off. It'll be a lot easier. But things like being nauseous.
Yes.
Headaches.
Yes.
Actually vomiting for more than 24 hours needs medical attention.
Yes.
Because that could be an indicator of something serious.
You need to take your own advice.
No, I know. I'm told I am.
Now that we know.
I am guilty because I would have these episodes when we traveled of vomiting and diarrhea. I did not know I have like a toxicity to shrimp.
Bad.
And
took years to figure it out.
I just always thought, it's food poisoning, but it would be like 2-3 days.
It really is food poisoning, but it's the kind of food that your body is getting poisoned by.
Yeah, it's like a toxicity level. The more I ate it, the more the toxic levels rose in me. It's just really weird.
Lucky it didn't kill you.
I know. Like, what if I was one shrimp away from having too much or something? Very scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying, that's why I'm not on my soapbox. I have been this person who, didn't go get the mammograms, didn't go get the pelvic exams and things like that because I just didn't. I'm like, I'm fine. And then beyond I'm fine, I thought, well, I don't even want to know if I have something. And now I just have this mindset of, as long as I find something early, I have a fighting chance.
Yes, exactly.
And part of it is like, look it up online, look up your organs, find out where they are, and figure out like know where they are and know what they do.
Yeah.
In general, like you don't need to be a rocket scientist, but know in general what your small intestine does, what your large intestine does. Very important. Also, pay attention to your poop. And I know we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah, very important. People don't. You're right.
They do not pay attention to their poop, and the poop is a window into what's going on inside your body. So super, super important. Okay. One thing, I came across a quote from what is this? Tony Robbins? Is that the guy that you've read his books? Tony Robbins?
Yes, love Tony.
I just wanted to share it because I loved it. He said, I love quotes, but in the end, knowledge has to be converted to action or quotes are worthless.
He's right. Super right. You
know how like there's some people on Instagram, all they do is post quotes.
Yes.
All these positive, uplifting quotes, and you're thinking like, okay, but you gotta your life has to like emulate the quotes. Okay, your quotes posting on your story on Instagram does absolutely nothing.
Or David Goggins says self-help books. How many of those are you gonna read?
Yeah.
How many motivational self-help? Come on, you gotta help your goddamn self. Stop reading those books. Those books ain't gonna help you, man. You gotta help yourself.
It's kind of like a play on what we talked about last week, which is analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
But it just cracked me up because I saw that quote. Because Tony Robbins, a lot of people share his quotes.
Yeah.
Right? And so he's kind of poking fun at that. Like, I know a lot of people share quotes from like my teachings, but at some point in time, you got to actually take action. The posting quotes and loving a quote and sharing a quote do absolutely nothing.
Nothing. You got to take action. The universe ain't just going to drop down and bless you with whatever it is you think you deserve. You have to get after it. That's just the way it is. I read stuff on Pinterest. Oh, if you read this, you're going to become a millionaire. No. That's not the way life works. It'd be like some motivational, inspirational quote. Like, no. You got to get after it. It's not going to just fall on my lap.
I know. I'm going to manifest it. Oh, this is what people think manifesting is. I'm going to think of like $1 million and then it's like poof. Like, no, it's not magic.
I'm going to wake up and it's going to be right in that table.
It's not like that.
No.
It's like like we talked about it also. The reticular activating system. Your brain will work for you to get you the things you want if you are giving it like the right programming. It will work to help you achieve those things.
For sure.
But it is not magic.
No. And that's what people think like... People who are successful, yes, they manifested it, but they also did the steps to get there, all the hard work.
Yeah.
So they know what it took to get there. And that's why a lot of times they get the right to beat their chest as billionaires and be like, I made it, I did it. You know, from the bottom, Elon Musk is a perfect example. Homeboy grinded his way up.
Hopefully these people, the sad thing is a lot of people are so focused on achievement. And this is another thing that I read about Tony Robbins. They're so focused on achievement. And they don't focus on fulfillment. And they're not necessarily the same thing.
Yes.
You can achieve a lot of things and not feel fulfilled. And so a lot of people actually, like millionaires, billionaires,
Yes.
business owners, go to Tony Robbins for counseling. Like, hey, I have everything.
They do. It's crazy.
I have
it all.
everything. And I've had all these achievements, but I'm sad and I'm empty. I don't feel fulfilled.
And you know what's crazy about that? Like, majority of people would scream at these people, would kill to have their life.
They
just
think
sliver
they would,
of it.
though.
A sliver of your income, a sliver of your life.
But they think they would. I think everything is,
and
the grass is
people
always
like,
greener on the other side.
Yeah, and they don't understand. Like, dude, the problem with, and I heard this from, Dan Bilzerian on a podcast once. He said, man, you know what's the kind of sad thing about, like, when you get to the top, like when you're up there, millionaire status or whatever, and you have the cars you wanted, you got the girls you wanted, you've been on airplanes, private, you've done it all. He's like, you got to find other things to stimulate you, because all that doesn't mean nothing no more. A Ferrari is nothing. It's like driving a Honda to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't stimulate them. But regular people are like, oh my God, I'd kill to be. To them, like, it's just a regular car. That's a helicopter. I've been there, done that.
Well, this is how we are hardwired as humans in many,
so their
many
baseline
ways.
is our baseline is, we're happy with the little things. Their baseline is so high up that they have to, which results in drugs and other crazy shit sometimes.
That's because we as humans, our ability to adapt, it's no longer, it's easy for that to no longer, that's the norm now. Like you said, it creates a new baseline.
Yes, they have their own baseline.
That's just how, that's how we're made. For whatever reason, I think that's how we've survived, because that's how we evolved, right? Over time, over the times, and survived. Yeah. Is because we are always adapting, but that's the problem. It also has its negatives, because yes, you know, if you don't feel the stimulation anymore, how do you get more and more stimulation? You got to keep, you know,
chasing some kind of high.
Yeah, but I think there is a big difference between achievement and fulfillment, and sometimes fulfillment comes from things that have nothing to do with, like, monetary success.
I know what we would do. I know exactly what we would do. Like, if we had, like, fuck you money, like,
win the Powerball or something,
we would do a philanthropy work with animals for sure.
For sure.
100%. Rescues. Yeah. People don't have the money to save their dog type stuff. You know, charities for that. So people could save their animals. Some people don't have money for surgery.
I know.
So the dog's got to get put down.
I know. Like, have like some sort of an angel fund for, like, the people that, you know. Yeah. They go in there and they have to put their dog down because they don't have the money for the treatment. I would love to do stuff like that.
Me too. Bless people like that, because that's important. They're important.
And that's where people get that. They get fulfillment out of that. Like, those people that do those kind of things.
So that's why celebrities sometimes do philanthropy work.
They
go to Africa and feel like they wanted to give back to humanity.
Yes, and a lot of people, they kind of like talk shit about that. Like, oh, God, another celebrity with charity. But you got to understand, they are seeking fulfillment. They already have achievements. Yeah. But their life doesn't feel complete because they're seeking fulfillment. So instead of people, like, talking crap about it, because a lot of times they do, like, oh, you know, charities, it's, you know, at least they're doing something. Yeah. And they're doing something for personal fulfillment.
You have to understand, the money, the mansions, the cars, that doesn't mean nothing to them anymore. They've already had that for so long, it's normal. It's like, if you live in an apartment for so long, as nice as it is, you're used to it, right? Other people might come from, like, not making fun of people from low income housing, like projects.
Well, you came from that, so.
You know what I'm saying? To, like, a high end apartment living, you're like, whoa. You know,
even like an apartment with rooms, you know, wow, you have your own room,
right?
So it's like
I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? As we level up, and then eventually you get a house. Like, wow, I got a house, and there's levels. And then these celebrities, you know, they live in mansions, have nice cars, whatever. So they've been doing that for so long in their life that doesn't faze them. It's normal. It's a baseline is normal, so they don't feel fulfilled anymore. Right? It doesn't stimulate them anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't give you, like, the feel good hormones.
No.
I don't know.
So you have to enjoy little things in life. Whatever it is, you have to have little things you enjoy.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for people that really have a hard time finding that. And sometimes when I'm down, when I have sadness or things in life that I'm dealing with, it's harder to find those pockets of happiness. Yeah. You know? And that's sad when you think about people who they haven't found those pockets of happiness in years. Whereas I'm sad that I just didn't find a pocket today. You know? Yeah. So you have to be, I don't know. All right, guys, moving on. Let's talk about, I want to give you guys some weight loss tips that actually help.
Some real science?
Well, that'll actually help versus, like, bullshit. Real science. weight loss tips that actually help. One of the best ones, I think, and I don't think enough people talk about it, it works really well, is calorie cycling.
Calorie cycling.
Yeah. So what you need to do is, instead of thinking about your calorie deficit as a daily calorie target, multiply it to figure out what your calorie target is for the entire week. And then you can have different calorie intake on different days and still achieve the same result.
I know what
you
you're
will
doing.
have the same fat loss effect.
I understand it. I understand it now.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, let's like make it an easy round number. If your calorie deficit, like for you, is pretty close, 2,000 is 2,000. That means you have 14,000 calories a week.
I'm allotted.
Yes. But some days you might eat 2,000 some days, and some days you might eat 2,200. Some days you might eat 1,800. Yeah. As long as you hit your target for the week, you will still have the same results as if you just broken out evenly over the week. And it's very helpful because you can have a high calorie day and then you can pull back, or if you're more active one day and you feel like you want more, or you want to bake in a birthday in there, or a cheat meal or whatever, it's easier to play with it. So like you can literally work your calorie deficit that way.
Interesting. That's good. Because you can play around with it. Because then you can have things you want during the week. You can sneak a donut in here and there. You know what I mean? It's an ice cream here and there.
Because instead of just having low days, and you can also have like where you can be conservative with your deficit. Don't give yourself like, oh, I have to have like a 4,000 calorie deficit this week or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can have like maintenance days. You got to have a couple of days. Okay, I'm going to be a maintenance for 3 days, and then I'm going to be a deficit for 4 days, and that's your week. Or you can be, 5 and 2, or
yeah.
It really works really well.
Nah, that's cool. I like that. That's a good way to do it. And someone was trying to teach us that. Remember, I told you a long time ago, I took a course, and he was explaining how you can have a burger, how you can have pizza, and breaking it all down. And we couldn't grasp it. And now I understand what you mean, because we didn't understand macros back then. I didn't get it.
It works.
And that's what he was trying to explain.
It helps people who are struggling with like the weekenditis, where the weekends hit and you just go crazy.
Yes.
It helps that. Like what I just say, like if I had had a donut on Thursday, do you think I would have been a little excited and like overdone the donuts on Saturday? No. I would have just been like, okay, cool. I just had one Thursday, but I'll have another one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give you a perfect example.
True.
Tyler has been on this crumble kick. So he gets crumble a couple times a week. Sometimes I'll get crumble, and like I'll have him get me a cookie, and I split it in half, and I'll have half of one as my treat for the day. And because of that, like I'm not over the moon for crumble. I still like it.
I see what you mean. It does what it needs to do.
Yeah, like I enjoy it.
Satisfies you.
So like at my dad's,
yes.
I had a half a crumble
yes.
that night. It was a weeknight, not a cheat day or anything. I had a half of a crumble cookie. And so like if I came home to a box of crumble cookies, I'd be, oh, cool, I'm going to have a half of a cookie.
I know what you mean. You're right.
It works really well if you're somebody that struggles. Like if you do really, really good and then you fall off and go crazy. Calorie cycling works really good.
That's where people struggle.
Remember,
they can do good all week long.
Yeah.
And then come the weekend and they start slipping, drinking, snacking.
Yeah.
On top of your cheat meals.
Yeah, your cheat meal becomes a cheat day, becomes a cheat weekend. That's very common.
And then it goes from Saturday, spills into Sunday. We talk about that. You got to close the bridge. Shops closed on Sunday. You can't keep that bridge open.
No, like my bridge is closed.
You got to put it up there. Yes.
I'm on the meal plan. I'm having my PB&J, my protein PB&J after this.
So if you follow that, you get back on the wagon the next day, you'll be all right. But it's when it turns into cheat day to cheat days. And then it continues on. Yeah,
then you just kind of loosen the reins and you're getting looser about things. Yeah. That doesn't work. But if you're struggling, like I call it like weekenditis, you're just one of those people, try the calorie cycling. Try to think about your total calorie target as a weekly target and spend accordingly. Some days higher, some days lower, and factor in those treats that you really love throughout the week instead of waiting like, oh, I'm going to do perfect. I'm going to do so good. And I'm going to let myself have it at the end of the week, and then you're probably going to have more than you bargained for.
Yeah. It's true.
And change it up too. It's actually good for your body. Like we were just talking about, right? Our bodies adapt to calorie intake. Our bodies adapt to everything. So the more kind of like curveballs you can throw your body, the better, so that you can prevent that adaptation. And it's actually good to fluctuate your calories a little bit, not eat the same like strict calories. Like even for my clients, they always say like, oh, but my meal plan, some calories are higher than the others. I'm like, yeah, because you have a range.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like 1,200 calories every day on the button.
Right.
Because your body's going to learn how to optimize 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to do that. And you don't want it to know what to expect. You kind of want to throw some curveballs at it so it doesn't adapt.
Crazy. You got to fight your own body. Isn't it weird? It's like a battle. Like what we're trying to do. You're trying to trick your own body.
You do. And the body's freaking smart. So
It
that's
is.
what makes it hard.
It's autonomous. You can't trick it. It knows. You
Another thing is add into your meals more fiber and more high volume, low calorie foods. So you feel like you're eating more. If maybe like...
Yeah, like those big salads you make.
Yeah, like
it's hearty.
I've been having like sauteed kale on the side. And it's a big bowl of sauteed kale.
It looks like it's a lot of calories, but it's...
And it makes me a little fuller. It fills me up. It makes my meal longer to eat.
Yeah.
And it helps.
Yeah.
It absolutely helps. So add in more of those types of things like broccoli or, greens, obviously, because they're low calorie. You still have to track it. But you can have a high volume of that, and it's going to help fill you up. Also, fiber, like things with lots of
And psychologically,
fiber.
It's going to help fill your brain up. Because psychologically, you're like, wow, my brain's
plate's
happy.
so huge.
Yes, I'm going to be happy after I eat this. My
Fill
stomach.
the plate. Like, put your calorie-dense little yummy meal. Like, I
You're
made
right.
myself my little wrap.
Yeah.
And it's little, but it was delicious. I made my wrap, and then I filled the rest of the plate with kale. And so it took me longer to eat it. It filled me up. You got your greens are nutritious. I actually have been sauteing the kale, a light saute. So it's al dente with crushed garlic.
I want to try it. You got me curious. I want to try it now.
It is so good. I bought more. I bought the chopped kale bag that's already triple washed, just ready to go from Trader Joe's. And you put a little cube of the frozen crushed garlic, a little spray of olive oil spray. And it's delicious. I actually bought bok choy too.
Bok choy.
Bok choy is
Bok
good too, sauteed.
Yeah, it is.
Saute it with a little bit of sesame oil.
Bok
really
choy is
good. But yeah, so add in more fiber and high volume foods is really helpful. Have an eating schedule. It really helps to regulate your hunger hormones. I know a lot of people, including myself, gave a lot of bowed down to intermittent fasting and how amazing it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is helpful and it is a great tool. But studies have since shown that it's really not the fact that you're not eating for umpteen hours that's helping you in the weight loss. It's the schedule and the regimented nature of the schedule, and it helps your body regulate hunger hormones and know when to expect food.
Yeah, because your new baseline, like say my baseline used to be 10 a.m., then it became 12 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 p.m., you keep pushing it.
Yeah, so your body knows. If
You're
you
right.
eat every day the first time at 2, you wake up, you do your thing, your body's not going to be tripping. It's like, I'm cool. I know Mike eats at 2. So at 2 o'clock, I'm going to send out some ghrelin and make him hungry because we get our fuel at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it knows what to expect. So it'll shift your hunger hormone release accordingly. But if you always eat at 8 a.m., always, and then you run out the door because you woke up late and so you skip breakfast, by 10 a.m., you're going to be starving because your body was expecting food at 8. You didn't give it any food. It's going to be shoving out ghrelin. You're going to make you hungry. You're going to make bad choices because you're going to be extra hungry.
True. Very true.
So
you're right about that.
It doesn't have to be intermittent fasting. That food schedule can be spread out so that you're not actually fasting. But if you are kind of like eat at the same time every time, your body kind of knows what to expect, regulates your hunger hormones accordingly, and it helps you.
Yeah.
And now intermittent fasting does help as well.
Yeah.
In terms of that, but it doesn't help beyond the routine part aspect of it. It's not magical. you still have to, it doesn't matter if you have a 1,500 calorie target for the day and you eat that in a 4-hour window or you eat that over a 14-hour window for the day.
So it doesn't matter then.
It's the same effect.
Yeah.
There's been countless studies that have poo-pooed that whole thought that,
yeah.
oh, it's much better for fat burning and all of that. It doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, the calories are the calories.
Calories are the calories.
And
the
law of
thermodynamics. Hey, we didn't make the rules.
But I'm not saying that intermittent fasting doesn't help. It helps a lot, but it helps because it's like I said, regulating hormones, creating routines. Mm-hmm. Routines really help you to stay on track more than you will ever really truly know.
Yes.
And that's what intermittent fasting does for you. So having an eating schedule is very, very helpful. Now I'm going to tell some things don't do. Don't cut out entire food groups or types of foods unless you have an illness or something, an intolerance to something. Don't cut out, oh, I'm not going to eat any dairy. I'm not going to eat any sugar. If you don't have a problem with those things, there's no reason not to eat them.
People just go balls to the walls.
And it'll create food issues and don't cut out carbs. I'm not going to eat white bread.
Yes.
I'm not going to eat pasta.
Potatoes.
You don't have to do that.
No.
So don't do it. Unnecessary rules and regulations are just going to lower your adherence and consistency.
Yes.
That's all they're going to do.
And all that is all old information, what you just said. That's not the devil. Potatoes, pasta, and white bread.
Mm-mm. I eat them all the time.
And still lose weight.
I eat bread, pasta, potatoes.
Exactly.
Rice, sugar.
The law of thermodynamics. Yep. That's it.
And also, I know we talked about calorie cycling earlier, but I'm going to tell you what not to bother doing: carb cycling. It is not necessary.
Guilty. Done that too back in the days.
It does nothing
high,
for
low,
you.
medium, high, low, high, medium.
Yeah, and you think, oh my God, I have to have a low carb day and a high carb.
Yes.
It's just so that there's really no reason.
See how dumb we were? We just fell into line thinking.
Cycle carbohydrates for weight loss. There is no benefit. So why bother? Why are you going to have a low carb day when you don't have to have one? Why are you going to have a high carb day when you don't have to have one? It does not speed up. And I'm telling you, whenever I say this, the carb cycling lovers come for me.
The community come for you?
Yeah.
They come for you.
Sorry, find me this. Show me the studies.
They don't like that you burst a bubble, huh?
There's no necessary. It's not going to hurt you because your calories are your calories, right? If you eat 1,500 calories and you got 100 grams of protein, your body does not care where you got the rest of the calories.
No. I think that's where people have it confused.
You do not. It just doesn't matter unless you are doing, because remember, glycogen is our preferred fuel source. Unless you are doing endurance exercise, meaning exercising more than 2 to 3 hours per day.
Yeah.
Or you are an endurance athlete like marathon running, cross country running, then there are things that you can do to preload carbs, make sure your glycogen stores are full. Those are not conducive to weight loss though at all.
No.
They loading your glycogen and all that. That's not for weight loss. And so, yes, can you lose weight carb cycling? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it works.
Because it's still based on your calorie intake. But why carb cycle if you don't have to?
I know. I mean, I guess you could look at it like this. It builds some type of discipline if you're adhering to that.
Yeah, I guess. But
other than that, I mean, you're right. Why do it if you don't have to?
Yeah, why?
I'm guilty. I thought it worked. I did it too back in the days.
Yeah. So don't bother.
I fell for a lot of the gimmicky stuff back in the days. And I'm not saying it's gimmicky. It's just a lot of bro science back then. Lots of it. So much has been debunked.
Yeah, just stay up to date on the studies. That's our job as personal trainers. Actually, NASM requires you to stay up to date on the latest and greatest. They don't put out material and say, okay, this is it. This is what's tried and true forever and ever from here on out. They say, no, you as a certified trainer are required to stay up to date on the latest and greatest, latest studies, and that's why we have to do the continuing education to stay certified. I
mean, that's just basically saying humans, we keep advancing and finding things out about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what's going on.
Because here's the thing, if you were to we have this podcast for 10 years and someday someone pulls up an old podcast and goes, but you used to say this. I'm like, well, I hope I've evolved.
Yes.
I hope that I've learned.
Yes.
I hope I'm not talking exactly the same that I was 10 years ago.
Exactly.
That's part of life. You have to evolve. That's
do.
why humans survived and dinosaurs didn't.
That's true. You're right. We've evolved.
You know? All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you.